Really grateful to Strive UK sisters to invite me and give me opportunity to speak to other sisters as well as brothers on this occasion of International Women's Day, and collectively go over our stories, our achievement, and of course our challenges as well. I cannot agree more with Lamia, yourself, and Raged that as women in some leading role, we have to be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gave us this opportunity. And number two, we should be thankful to all the men and women around us who enabled us in our journey to become able to be in a leading role, as well as we should be inspiring others to become leaders rather than followers. And that would be something which I will be talking about, my own inspiration, as well as myself in this current role of president of UKIM Sisters, that what is our vision. And especially I was asked to reflect on how we plan to lead the Muslim women in British society, and what are our aims and objectives for future. So I start with quoting a verse from Surah Ahzab. Our creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is basically what we learn from this verse is the same thing we have been talking about when it comes to International Women's Day theme for 2021, and that is equality. But the concept of equality when it comes from our creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is beautiful, very empowering, and also it is very motivating. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us that equality, which is, as a human being, it is there that every man and woman can have this character profile which can make him or her successful, not just in this world, as well as in the hereafter, which is the true essence of success. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that for men and women who are devoted to Allah, the believing men and women, the obedient men and women, the faithful men and women, steadfast men and women, humble men and women, charitable men and women, fasting men and women, may Allah make us amongst those chaste men and women and who remember God often. Allah has prepared for forgiveness and a rich reward. So leading on from this ayah, we have not just this as a theoretical concept, as Raged was also mentioning about the beautiful examples of remarkable examples of the Sahabiyat. We have our mothers, the mothers of the believer, as the icons for this role, this leading role they have led. And then, of course, other companions of the Prophet ﷺ. And then afterwards, in the golden age of Islam and in the current current situation as well, especially in this COVID pandemic. We hear so many stories. Recently, you all have heard about how Zara Muhammad has become, the Secretary General of MCB, and her career is also marked by 2.5 years of excellent work, and especially during pandemic. So the examples are there, but I agree with the theme which sisters were talking about earlier, that we had a very good start, but down the way somewhere things changed, and we do not see that leading role of Muslim women today in society, especially when we're talking about UK society. There are Muslim women who are serving in various fields and institutions, but when it comes to inspirational roles and stories or representing the balance, the holistic approach, there are some things which need to be clarified and focused, why it is happening and what should be done. So I believe this is my own inspiration as well as my belief. And I think it is because it is a divine concept. We all agree, we couldn't agree more, that it is more to do with equity rather than equality. Because equity focuses on how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us as women. We have to focus that we have our own set of positive, I would say, positive elements, and we can't say there are negative elements, but there are certain assets that women have more than men, and then the same applies to the other gender. So equity addresses the system of natural justice, allowing a fair judgment, a society where justice and equity prevail. In contrast to the Western feminism concept, where equality means that men have been taken as a gold standard, and the women have to compete for that, to achieve that goodness. They have to always compete with that gold standard. And somewhere down the line, it is really not possible. So it gives frustration. And when you visit the International Women's Day 2021 page, they have highlighted that we want equality because women still to date, which is a true fact, that they are not given equal opportunities, they are not given equal pays, although they are struggling. And from my medical background, I couldn't agree more with this, that we have to go through the same intense training programs. But when the women are going through pregnancies, lactation, then keeping up all night, taking care of a sick child, and the mental and emotional ups and downs they have to go through, of course, it is not, accommodated in those training programs, isn't it? So it is something which we should be really reflecting upon when it comes to understanding and celebrating that true leadership roles of women. And that also brings us to the division of rights and responsibilities, how they have been created over time. Of course, to start with, if we look at the example of Khadija radiallahu ta'ala anha, she was a women entrepreneur, a successful businesswoman, then a very able and intelligent woman. And then when she was married, she was an excellent wife. When she became mother, she was an excellent mother. And when she had to go through the challenges and the tough times, with Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, she was, exemplary there also. So what happened when the whole concept of rights and responsibilities got mixed up due to educational system or due to the various concepts and ideologies? Then we see the problem arose, and of course it has affected the roles of women representing various spheres of life. So skill set, abilities, the opportunities, the circumstances, they all affect us, but they will be really up to the potential. They will bringing out the potential of women in leading role when we are keeping in mind the divine distribution. And as Raged was also mentioning this, it is something which needs addressing. And mostly especially in the society we are living in, we see there is already so much misconception about Islam. And if we take the percentage, the most misconceptions are then down to focusing onto the Muslim women. So the root of many misconceptions, when they start with Muslim women, it is us, which inspires me also a lot. This is my motivation, especially when I went through Surah Nisa many years back, and I really had a good, thorough understanding of Surah Nisa, the chapter about women. And then I thought there are so many misconceptions, let alone in non-Muslim world, it is within the Muslim world. And Muslim women also do not know what is the concept behind various rules and regulation when it comes to the both genders. So it is very important, us as Muslim women, and as Raged was also saying, every woman should know that she is leading someone, or she is in a leading role, whatever role she is and whatever opportunity she has been given. Because it's mentioned in Quran also that everyone would be question about the responsibility, the role they have been given. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not test us beyond our capabilities, isn't it? So it is very important that the misconceptions are clarified by the Muslim women themselves about them. And the narrative that we face in Western society, the narrative is because if we see some Muslim women who are progressing and they are leading in some very fancy institutions or in some very good top jobs in executive positions, so immediate narrative is built up is that it is because they are not very much following the religion of Islam, and that's why they are not suppressed, and that's why they are in leading position and they're liberated, emancipated, because they are not following Islam. So we have to reverse this narrative. We have to direct the story of our future right, that in spite of following the principle, the golden principles of Islam, we can still succeed. And because of our Islamic feminism, the Islamic rights and the privileges we are given, if we are following them rightly in the right context, it will lead us to prosper in our roles, whatever role we are. So what does the future hold for us? We are living in a time when there is a huge mental and spiritual crisis. People's basic needs are met with, so they have more time to contemplate or at least reflect inside that what is the purpose of their life. And because of the very secular type of mindset, which is coming from all sides, there is a gap in the heart to search for the truth. There is a mental and spiritual crisis. And we have to, as Muslim women, we have to find that opportunity, how to fulfill that mental and spiritual crisis, how to come up with the strategy. And of course, we see in a rise in involvement of Muslim men and women, both in our public spheres. We see so much participation there. But having said that, there is a gap in those roles as well. We see maybe our daughters have overcome the institutional sexism in getting admissions into Cambridge, Oxford, or some renowned universities, but then maybe they are not getting up for their fajr, because they're too much consumed into the, just the worldly side of those achievements. So that needs to be fulfilled, that we have to have a holistic approach. So the future for us Muslim women, alongside our Muslim brother, is that we should aim to make this world a better place. Otherwise, we would be replaced. As Allah has said that clearly in Quran, that if we do not sense our responsibility of enjoining good and forbidding evil, we are not involved in any kind of servitude towards community, society we are living in, then we will be replaced. So there is a need, as well as the urgency of that need. And it has been really very important that our work should be holistic, and this three-step process. And that is something which is individually my inspiration, as well as when I am working with UKIM sisters. All the sisters which are involved with me, they are our workforce at UKIM sisters. They are also working with the same clear vision, which is based on a clear mindset, a vision, and then a strategy. And of course, we are working individually on our own needs as well, which should be holistic, working on our emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual well-being, spiritual uplifting, physical needs, as well as intellectual needs, and then bringing about a systemic change, which will be gradual, but it should be deep-rooted. And when we are making our projects, our trainings, we are approaching to young British Muslims, professional people, professional sisters. So we want to have this shared vision that our professional goals should be important, but then we have our religious goals as well. And this holistic approach, I think, will be the key feature which will determine our motivation when we reflect on it, that what are our responsibilities, and then how we should be achieving it. And I think our vision, I just want to share what is our vision at UKIM Sister, and it is very much in line with the International Women's Day objectives, as well as the divine objectives that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us, that we should be working on our personal growth, we should have an ambition with vision, and we should be working with systemic change, for a systemic change, for reforming the society around us, so that we can make this world a better place. And of course, it should not be just wordings, it should be reflected in our everyday working methodology. So when we were going through pandemic, what happened was, it was a unique opportunity. In fact, when I took this responsibility as UKIM Sisters President, the very same week, the lockdown started. So it was a challenge for myself as also, because UKIM work is mostly established in masajid, in mosques, as well as various premises where we meet up regularly every week, and then we carry out our various plans and projects. But to take up this challenge was the first thing that, alhamdulillah, I thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I have a wonderful team across UKIM, across UK, various more than 35 locations in UK, and we all accepted the challenge. And I praised the sisters there that they were immediately, they switched on to the next mode, which was suitable for the COVID timings, COVID scenario. And we sensed the community need. We kept the morale boosting of our workers as well as the community around us. And with a growth mindset and an excellent communication, we were able to achieve a smooth running during COVID. And we had our projects according to planned according to the limitations and challenges we were facing. And there was excellent communication which helped us to achieve the results we had. So all this which is shown in this collage picture, it's not just wordings. Actually, we were able to achieve these projects. We were, at the same time, we were aware of the needs for the mentoring. We were the needs for the mental and emotional well-being workshops, character developments, the development of children, so that the mindset can be in place from a very young age. And then, of course, the youth empowerment, community outreach, food hubs, homeless people, helping the people who are facing bereavement, as well as the challenges of illnesses and people being locked inside the houses and affected by the lack of social gatherings. So all those needs were actually sensed. And I am really grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we have a wonderful supporting system from our brother side. I want to acknowledge that without their help and facilitation, it wasn't possible. And having said that, it's not enough. We have to have, as I said earlier, we have to develop that sense of responsibility in the right direction, because leadership with a sense of direction is very important, and a holistic approach. It is our vision at UKIM, and we make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He enables us to achieve more. Jazakallah khairan. Assalamu alaikum.